The following is a presentation of Flow Sports.
The grand finale. Nearly 100 games over the course of these last few days here on Flow, and we get to grand stage it all with a little bit of international exhibition. An LMU team that has had a good time here, I dare say as good as anybody at the Mary Nutter Collegiate Classic, takes on the gold medalists as the Japanese national team makes their Wrigley Field debut. Happy to have you along, everyone. Corey Brooks, Sid Supley with you. And Sid, this is such a cool opportunity for everybody here at Mary Nutter. A little Olympic preview, a little World Championships preview, and one last game to wrap up what is always a really fun tournament.
Mary Nutter is always known for having the best teams collegiately, but now we have the best teams in the world. What an opportunity for Team Japan, who last was at the Mary Nutter in 2018 and 2019, and now back here in 2026. They've gotten to play 6 different teams, and what a way for these college teams to learn from the best of the best.
For this LMU team, you really couldn't pick anyone much better to come out and face this Japanese national team. It is going to be a gargantuan task, but these Lions are up to it. They're fresh off a win. They just knocked off Washington to really put the capstone on a phenomenal tournament.
A huge win. Now their 13th win of the season, only 2 losses. And what I was so impressed in watching that game before that is they had RBIs from 3 different players, production 1 through 9 in their order, and they used 2 different arms.
Wenyo will pitch. Great job by our friends here at the graphics department on Flow, getting the kanji names on there as well for the Japanese national team. That's cool.
I mean, what an opportunity for both sides of these teams just to be able to come out here and compete. And in talking to so many of these coaches, facing Team Japan is a unique challenge because you just watch the way the pitchers are so dialed in with their motion. It's unlike any American motion where they're going to finish so squared off, ready to field the ball. And this is a beautiful drop ball that just falls off the shelf. Team Japan not only has the speed, but the spin.
The head coach. Slow roller, first ball put in play across the diamond, and no problem for Ishikawa on the second out.
It's a good job putting the ball in play, but just such a nice job at working a rise ball up and in on the hands. Team Japan so dialed in with their fundamentals defensively.
A genuine professional opportunity for LMU. These players on the Japanese national team, company teams, so very much the highest level of the sport. Honing this, the primary goal is for the World Championships coming up, but we understand across the softball landscape at this point, everything is focusing on LA 28. As you look, Hirotsugi Ireha, the head coach for the Japanese national team. Rolled up, gets through. LMU gonna have their chance to make some noise. Sydney Poole, the opening knock for the Lions.
The redshirt senior does such a nice job not trying to do too much. Put this ball back up the middle exactly where it is pitched. She's somebody who was having an unbelievable last season, hitting .438, doubled her previous averages her first 3 seasons.
It's one of the best parts about this tournament, isn't it, Sid? This is breakout country at Cathedral City. Players who had limited opportunities or maybe are coming back from injury, they always come to this tournament and write the national headlines, say, okay, it's my time now.
Especially for these hitters, you're playing a few games a day. There's so many opportunities to get in a rhythm, see live pitching back-to-back times, and just get really comfortable within your swing.
chopped up straight back.
Taylor Walker, one of the true freshmen in the lineup for LMU. She's also been one of the top hitters on the team so far, hitting nearly 400, 3 extra base hits.
Quick look down. LMU showing their speed. Small ball's always going to be a part of the game for the Lions, even late in the count. Not afraid to take off.
Challenging the #1 team in the world. I love it, making a statement early. So far, LMU, as you just said, now 18 for 23 in stolen bases on the season.
Taylor Walker picking up a hit in that dub against the Huskies. And she'll continue to battle against Yukiko.
And LMU is just a team that's a really high average hitting team. They're hitting .337 as a group, only 7 long balls. So you're gonna see a lot of these lefty slappers and just base hit single team and try to pass the bat. No one's gonna try to be a hero themselves.
And now Taylor Walker refusing to go down. There's got to be so much confidence on that LMU side. All the wins they've racked up. I mean, they have just been the enemy of the Power 2 here in this tournament. You get the dub Washington, dub Utah, dub Rutgers.
The momentum is such a real thing, Corey. Right now they're playing with so much confidence.
Shiho makes the play. And so, Team Japan does their thing in the field. Now, let's see what the other side has in store. A prolific hitting group, as you'd expect from really a bunch of professionals, so it'll be fun to watch as you get your first look at the attack for the Japanese national team.
2 golden medalists on this team from the 2020 Tokyo Games, and they're prepping here for 2028 in LA. What an opportunity. This is their first trip internationally as a team, as this group is still learning each other and how they work together to be able to create one of the most prolific offenses in the country. This is such great training ground for them, playing against the top college teams in the country as they try to prep for the World Cup here this summer.
Carrera gets the nod for LMU. Her first pitch. That's a good way to start. Went 3 1/3, really strong against the Rainbow Wahine of Hawaii. Fielding her position and doing so in time. Yamagachi in the extra stretch to make sure. And the opening out for LMU, 1 up, 1 down, as Natsumi comes up for Japan.
I love how fearlessly right now we're seeing LMU just play, go right at the best hitters in the world. That's a great start.
And Angela's 2 appearances this year, she has not given up more than 1 earned run. So it's definitely in a groove. 3rd-year Lion. Really getting the opportunity last year to go at it for the first time after redshirting in her initial campaign with LMU.
And just in her limited opportunities, she's done such a nice job at attacking the zone. A good low walk rate, and I think that's why the team's really been intrigued with her. She works east to west movement. She's going to keep her curveball low in the zone.
An all-freshman team performance. And it's so funny, because normally I see an all-freshman player sit and I go to a line. It's very difficult to be a sophomore in college softball with all the video and analytics and scouting reports. Not as relevant in this broadcast. I don't know how much scouting in advance the Japanese national team did here. It's more C-ball, hit-ball.
I asked a few coaches about that, and some saying, we're still trying to find just their roster and their team website. So it's one of those good old fashions. You show up to the ball field and you play who you have.
So Fujimori Natsumi works the walk. There's the defense for LMU. Sydney Poole, Avery Francis, Taylor Walker. Infield from left to right, Justine Lambert, Annalie Loomis, Sakura Harville, Izzy Yamagachi. Scarlett Carlson doing the catching for her pitcher, Angela Carrera.
And Coach Flowers doing such a nice job in her 6th season now at LMU. Their historic 2023 year, and they made it back to the NCAA tournament. And this is a really good mix of some experienced players after being really young last season, and then having some freshmen who've stepped in key roles.
I was going to say the exact same thing, where you have to still build it kind of old school out in WCC. You're not getting a team of 20-some transfers where you can just do it all in 1 year. For LMU, you need those freshmen to get opportunities to continue to grow. Carrera's a great example in the circle right now.
And what a wonderful off-speed pitch, Carrera from there, pulling the string. That's the first one we've seen. And Team Japan stays so disciplined, not chasing a lot of balls. They're making Carrera come to her first.
Woo. That's the best one of the day.
When a pitcher has confidence to throw not just once, but another one, back-to-back, even better than the one she threw before. What a pitch.
Be up to Sayori to try and capitalize on the 1-out walk. Watching ball 1, pop throw down. Both teams getting their stolen base reps in the grand finale at the Mary Nutter.
And so much speed. Safe by a mile. But not Tatsumi. When I talk to a lot of these coaches, the number one thing they said Team Japan does well is how they run the bases. They're an incredibly disciplined group, always trying to stretch an extra 60.
Let's see if they try and get that extra 60 right now. The throw home is in time. An absolute laser from center field. Avery Francis stepping up. International competition, a friendly, so what? This is on the diamond, you make your plays. And Avery Francis dropped a dime. For one final time here in Cathedral City, Mary Nutter would like to thank all their vendors and sponsors for 2026, including Easton. The Easton Ghost Unlimited is now available. Get a sneak peek at the brand new unreleased Rawlings Halo Bat. You won't want to miss it. Sid, you've been there. You've seen the vendors. You've seen the sponsors. That's just one of so many things that makes this tournament special. Everywhere you look at Big League Dreams, it's surrounded by softball equipment, opportunities, coaching. It's boundless here.
I always think how Big League Dreams is the perfect name for the stadium, the tournament, because this is when teams and players come on the map. Everyone has equal opportunity to shine, and we've seen a few breakout campaigns already this weekend. I've also never seen a home run record, I think, so high at this tournament.
The athletes in college softball are just insane, and they've been raking this weekend. Might be more challenging now against Yukiko. She starts this second with a K, sending Scarlett Carlson down swinging.
Yukiko is showing her rise ball. We saw her mainly stay low in the zone early on in the first inning, but after giving up a few base hits, she's going to work more of her vertical movement. She is one of 2 Olympians on this roster from the 2020 Games, gold medalist for Team Japan.
Chopped up foul. Defensively for Japan, Ayane, Risa, and Natsumi are the outfield from left to right. Saori, Kyoko, Shiho, and Mayu the infield that same direction. Kirishi Yume is doing the catching for her pitcher, Ueno Yukiko.
And it's amazing, Corey, that this LMU lineup here, even in the middle where you see a lot of teams have those big power bats, they just have so many lefty slappers. And it's really fun and unique and keeps them different.
The nature of playing in the WCC, right? You want to challenge defenses in that conference. You're going to put them in really uncomfortable positions. And when you have the type of team speed that LMU does, you're going to make it so uncomfortable that the Power 2 teams they've gone against are still going to feel that chaos in this tournament. Nasty from Yukiko.
Finding her groove. Yukiko so deadly when she's able to work upstairs with her rise ball. Such sharp spin as you watch it get this late break. I almost think she looks really deceiving for these hitters as well. She's got a very simple motion, and then the ball's on you.
Yukiko fires it in again. The first pitcher to ever throw a perfect game at the Olympics. Did so against China in the Olympics in Athens. A bona fide pro. And that is very clearly on display. One of the best to do it in Japan, showing her skill. There you got to look at a team that has been absolutely on fire in the international stage. This Japanese national team right there with the U.S. And if you're trying to guess the favorites at LA 28, those two are most certainly in a tier of their own as we get closer and closer to the return to the Olympic stage.
It's so impressive how they handle softball over in Japan. We've seen a lot of U.S. softball players coming out of college and between playing professionally here in AUSL, go over and play in Japan and just love their experience for how rich the culture is, the type of career you can make pro softball over in Japan, and they just played the game in such an intentional way.
One of the trailblazers on that particular pathway is now an assistant coach for this Japanese national team. Lucy Casarez was one of the first Americans to ever play in Japan in the softball realm, and we'll get the chance to catch up with her in a little bit. But what has become mainstream and a wildly successful pathway, in a lot of ways, started with one of the coaches for Team Japan. Elevated foul.
Carrera is doing a nice job using her off-speed pitches right now to keep Team Japan having to be really honest in the box. She just has to make sure she doesn't elevate it too much, because that is something that Team Japan will be able to catch on to and take advantage of.
Two's up to the catcher, Yume. She's down looking. Carrera, a second K in as many innings.
Using both sides of the plates with her curveball, Carrera this time sends a backdoor curve in that is just sneaking by these right-handed hitters. Team Japan got here on February 14th. Now their 10th day, or excuse me, they're gonna be here 2 more days to make it 10 days on their trip where they're able to practice outside of game days they've been playing. But their 5th game here at the Mary Nutter Collegiate Classic. And we've seen some teams playing really tough too, Corey. Texas Tech, a 1-0 ball game to welcome them here to Cathedral City.
That had to have Coach Ford just thrilled. The pitching-minded coach going against one of the best teams in the world and giving up 1 run. I'm pretty sure that's her bulletin board material right there.
It's been so cool that the coaches who I've been able to chat with who are playing them. I look at Coach Rutgers, Kristen Butler, the head coach for the team. She played over in Team Japan. She was the first American drafted by Team Desno. And LMU and Coach Flowers sharing in the same type of respect. She said these opportunities don't just come every single year. They're once in a lifetime for our players to compete against the best of the best, but also watch and admire the way that they played the game differently.
Coach Flowers. Catch up with her in a bit too, and I imagine she's going to be thrilled no matter what happens here. The strikeouts and the 2-3 put out. Back-to-back Ks for Carrera.
That's when your catcher is working for you behind the dish. This is a really great job. Gonna work to block an off-speed pitch, bounces off, but take a look at the hustle here, and then throwing to the right side of the base. Right now, Carrera has done a great job in mixing her off-speed pitches and that curveball on both sides of the plate.
Kawamayu up for the Japanese national team, watching ball 1.
And Coach Flowers knows a thing or two at some ranked wins. 2025 picked up one against Oregon.
And right now, against the #1 ranked team in the world, her squad is on fire, pitching and defense locked in. Quick start, everybody excited about the grand finale. First pitch swinging. Aliyah puts it in and across the diamond. Kyoko is in time. Ueno Yukiko, one pitch, one out.
It's such great arm strength to be able to get that one across in time. And LMU trying to go back to what they did in the first inning, attack early on in the count against Yukiko, who showed that her rise ball can be deadly. They want to look for something low in the zone.
She comes with the straight velo there. And Sid, we often talk about what Carlin Pickens is doing from a velocity standpoint. She's getting it, you know, high 60s routinely. This thing is even faster than that regularly.
How it feels like watching pitchers these days in 2026 where 70 is the new 60 miles per hour. I felt like Carlin Pickens made it possible, reaching up to high 70 speeds. And right now we're seeing majority pitchers reach up to top 60s. But even this feels different by Yukiko.
Yeah.
It's because it's not just her speed, but it's her spin. And with her sharp of spin, it can almost speed up these hitters and make it feel even faster.
Pick got to 79.4, the fastest single pitch in the college game. She can get it to 80, which, if you can get it to 80 on the fastball, the off speed is just unfair.
Especially when she's able to tunnel it so well. 2/3 of the way through as a hitter, you're thinking that ball's coming in, like you said, upper 70s in the last second. You realize it's about 15 miles per hour slower, and it's so hard to recognize your body that's trying to go so quickly to catch up to the top speed. And after Carlin Pickens was able to hit the record for NCAA softball, she broke her own records, reaching up to 78, 79 miles per hour. They did a study where that's equivalent to around 108 miles per hour for baseball.
So then I guess for Yukiko, if she's at 80, that's what? She's throwing a $115, a $116 on the baseball diamond, something like that?
I mean, it's like when the Yankees used to call in like Chapman on the mound and he would just watch him throw gas. That's what we're seeing in terms of the reaction time from these hitters.
Kyoko across the diamond in time. The good stretch by Okawa Mayu secures the out. Their ace sure looks it. Nothing our score. Good old-fashioned pitching duel between the Lions of LMU and the Japanese national team. So many ties that bind, including the Sun Devil great and assistant coach for the Japanese national team, Lucy Casarez. Lucy, I want you to take us through this process, right? When you reach out to Kirk Walker and the folks at Mary Nutter saying, we want to bring the Japanese national team to this tournament. What was that like for you all?
And it's welcomed us here. Yes.
Sorry, Coach. I think the mic betrayed you a little bit there in the beginning.
Okay.
Now we can hear you.
Oh, yes. We participated in 2018, 2019, and every time I've gotten in touch with them, they've been kind and have allowed us to play here, and we appreciate everything they've done for us.
Coach Lucy, how impressed have you been with in your games right now against some of the top college teams in the nations? What have you seen them bring to the table for competition for your team?
Oh, the big difference is that a lot of these girls have some huge swings. And I noticed that right away. A lot of times in Japan, they just want to put the bat on the ball. They're quick, and the game's a lot quicker, shorter. But here, there's some great swings here that I've seen.
Rizzo watching in the dirt. Coach, I want you to take us through that process for you. One of the first Americans to ever play over in Japan. What was that transition like for you as a player? It ultimately kind of set you up to be a coach.
Yeah, that was it. You really have to be open to a culture change. You have to learn the language.
Yeah.
You're going to be much happier if you learn the language. And just getting along with your teammates and supporting each other. You go there and they're going to support you 100%. So instead of being nervous about everything, you just play your game, and you're going to enjoy the game.
And looking at your team this year, I know we have 2 Olympians from the Tokyo 2020 games, but you guys are preparing now for 2028. This is your first games together as a team this year, but what is really the identity of this group as you continue to prepare to be your best here in 2 years?
Yes, we do have a lot of new players. The base is our pitching. Of course, softball, your pitching is going to be your base no matter what team you're on. And just them learning international. A lot of these girls haven't played internationally, so they're getting that experience now. And we're just going to keep going, playing and getting them ready with each other and getting them used to each other. That's the thing, is getting the team used to each other, getting used to the way this coaches, our head coach, Reika Atsugi, also the aggressiveness of her coaching. So they're usually on their own teams with their companies, so they're coached differently with those companies. So now it's just adapting to this team and getting them ready for the World Cup coming up next year.
As a member of one of those company teams, take us through it. What's the biggest difference, the college game as we sit here in America versus company softball in Japan? I imagine there's a pretty big gap.
Yes. Well, in Japan, they're recruited out of high school or college. But a lot of the kids, talented kids, get recruited out of high school. So them adjusting to a company is also different than coming from a college. But the company supports the team, so you have to remember that you represent the company also. And the company will. There's a lot of money involved with JD League and the Japan Diamond League, and they'll support you as long as you're putting it. Practicing hard, and because in Japan we do practice a long time, about 5 hours, probably at least a day. So yeah, no, it's an adjustment, but they do fine. Yeah, they do well with the older members, having the young members adjust with them.
Coach, I love when you talk about 5 hours a day I think that's so unique in terms of what they have here in USA as you guys get your first run across the board. If you could tell everybody, what does softball mean over in Japan?
Oh, baseball's big there, so softball is always big. And whenever we get softball into the Olympics, you'll see a big difference in the fan turnout, and they do get excited about it. During the Olympics, it's a shame we couldn't play with fans because of COVID, but the stadiums were sold out before the game. So they bring everybody together, and the fans come out and support them.
As we're watching, because you mentioned the veterans that are playing with some of these younger players, we're getting the chance to watch one of the all-time greats in the circle right now. When Yukiko looks unhittable, her velocity as advertised. How much fun is it to be around, as the Japanese Cat Osterman in some ways, right? Like somebody who has just single-handedly won medals for Japan.
Oh, she's just amazing. She's amazing to watch. She's amazing to work with. She's a workhorse. She's always giving 100%. Even off season, she stays in shape, and I've never seen anything like it. And just her mental strength is just nothing like I've seen before. It's just incredible. She's just amazing, even for our younger pitchers to learn from.
Last question
Yukiko
for
is
you,
one
Coach,
of 2 Olympians on your teams. I want to know what are a few players that we should start to look out for here in the World Cup games in just the year that you think are going to have breakout campaigns on the biggest stage?
Oh, that's a good question. A lot of them are starting to break out. Yeah, we have a few good hitters that are coming out. Our shortstop's just quick and has power. Our catcher has a lot of experience. She caught Monica Abbott. She's caught a couple American pitchers. So she's coming out with experience, and she's beginning to be more comfortable in the batter's box. I would say, your battery's going to be your stable part but yeah, maybe probably our catcher and our shortstop, and possibly we're working in a new third baseman that has power also.
Well, as the action heats up, Coach, we'll let you get to it because it seems like the bats are waking up for the Team Japan. So
Yes.
We appreciate you joining us. This is so cool. We're happy to have you.
Thank
We'll
you.
let you get to it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
An absolute trailblazer. Opened up so much. And then in her time, while she was there, transitions from player to coach. Eventually, she wants to kind of stop playing, so they ask her, okay, we'd like you to just get a replacement for your production. She says, okay. She brings Michelle Smith over to Japan. Worked out pretty well. Obviously a great player in her own right. And then over the course of her time, players like Dallas Escobedo making the trip across the Pacific. So has introduced that American pipeline of talent to Japanese pro ball, and now translating it to the international stage as she continues to coach for Team Japan.
And I loved how she brought up how players like Karishi, who we're seeing behind the dish tonight, she caught Monica Abbott. And as you mentioned, some of the American greats like Michelle Smith, who has come over. So many of these teams who are competing in the World Cup and the Olympics play with each other over in Japan.
And a walk to load the bases.
Now batting number 17, Sayori Yamauchi.
And Team Japan started to finally, I feel like, do a really nice job at having some good late takes with the curveballs by Carrera on the mound, and then just hitting complimentary hitting in terms of just finding a way to get on base, hit a single, and pass the bat. I think that's going to end the day for Carrera.
These games are always pitched by committee. And so Jesse Gilbert warms up for LMU. DeMarini has new and unreleased bats now available. You can check them out at your nearest dealer. The Lions of LMU playing in this game to learn valuable lessons, to take away iron sharpening iron, leaning on the opportunity to grow. And so the freshman, Jesse Gilbert, will get exactly that chance.
What we've seen from Gilbert so innings of work. What I've been impressed with her is just her ability to utilize her spin. Now, sometimes she does get into trouble. She does have 12 walks on the year, so we're going to need her find her rise ball level soon.
Yamauchi.
Gilbert, somebody who came from Washington, where she had an unbelievable high school career. She set a record of 22 strikeouts in one game for the state. She also recorded the most strikeouts in her high school history with 750 strikeouts.
Probably a pretty cool game for her in that win against UW.
Oh, extra special. Anytime you're playing against your home state team, I'm sure at one point you dreamed of playing at.
Sayori sends it sky high. Francis is there to make the play. Goes down as a sacrifice fly. It's still 2 in prime position for the Japanese national team.
And this is a look at the phenomenal base running we've heard so much about Team Japan. No hesitation, tagged up right away. I did find it really fun when we were talking to Coach, and she said the biggest thing she's noticed from these college teams are they swing a big bat. She said over in Japan, everyone just tries to make contact and run. But these girls, they know how to hit.
You got to love the parallel, right, between how LMU wants to play a game of softball and how Team Japan wants to play a game of softball. Put it in play, make good things happen. That is stung right down the middle. Kirishiyumi scores 2 more. Team Japan's bats are very awake.
Kirishiyumi does a great job getting her hands on top of this rise ball up in the zone, pokes it through the middle, and then allows her team to get to work on the bases.
Right there, just textbook Team Japan softball. Don't try and do too much. Hit it back where it came from. Base knock.
And 2 Olympic gold medalists, 4-time World Cups.
Kana taking her hacks at the DP spot.
Shooting .225 on the year, 6 home runs, 9 RBIs. She's the DP because she is one of the most biggest pops on this bat of this team. She leads the team in home runs. I like that pitch, just trusting your spin through the zone.
Anna chops it up. Arlo in time to close the door. But not before the international team very much looks the part of the gold medalists. Back at it, the pride of the Mary Nutter Collegiate Classic, which, as our crew has learned this week, lives up to the billing. The official rating was an 11 out of 10 on the tri-tip sandwich in Cathedral City.
And there is more than just softball here at Cathedral City. Anyone who's ever been in attendance understands that. But what I love the most is the fans who show up. We have seen thousands across Thursday to Sunday because they have such great access to the players. And all of a sudden now you also have access to the best team in the world.
Yeah. Goto Miu on to pitch for the first time here for Team Japan. So the legend doing the job, got rolling. But of course, you want reps for your entire staff on the international stage. You need that depth. And so Goto will come in.
They talk about Nobumu as they call her the mini Monica, as in Monica Abbott was her mentor when she was playing. She began softball seriously in junior high, did it for fun initially, and then it brought her all the way to winning gold with Japan in 2021.
Gold at the Women's World Cup as well in 2024. There tends to be a lot of medals. The longer you play with Team Japan, the more success you are likely to have on your resume. Here's a jump Gachian. Took a little off, dropped it on a dime. Gogachian down swinging.
Nobumu makes this look so effortless. In 2025, she was 13-2 record-wise, a 1.17 ERA, and her 95 innings of work and 80 strikeouts. And you can see just why with an off-speed that filthy.
Poole working ahead.
The key for LMU facing this type of caliber pitching is they're really going to have to go after one speed until they have two strikes. You're either going to be sitting on the hard or the soft. Because if you try to hit both, it's nearly impossible.
I don't know if you can hit it if you're sitting on it at this rate. Rolled up, Mew, the jump throw, and it sails wide. Almost.
That one even wins a smile here. Tried to make quite the athletic play. I mean, why not go for it? Off the back leg, spin and throw. I tell you, if it would have been online, it would have been quite the play.
Yeah. Channeling her Derek Jeter there, trying to turn the backhand into a wild jump throw the other direction. Quite the day for Poole. Couple knocks for LMU. Chopper in between her. Shiho cleans up. The fun part about these friendlies, as they call it on the international stage, you're repping stuff. So if you have an error, not even an error, just a throw that goes wide, you still got a big smile. You go for the spectacular, because of course you do. It's a fun game.
You have to, and these are the times when you can push the limits of, can I make a play like that? And quite frankly, Nobumu Goto can if that throw is online. Why not start repping it now?
Carlson going after one outside part.
What I appreciate so much about Team Japan's mechanics is you watch it and it's so effortless how much power they're able to get out of it. Just a simple rock back, no extra motion, but the power they get driving off the mound is so fluid.
Up and foul. It's kind of interesting too. We were talking about it earlier where you don't have a scouting report. That's true, obviously, for the Japanese national team, too, where, hey, just go out and throw. Execute that motion right there. And like you said, Sid, it's a smooth one.
The Team Japan does a nice job with the changed rules where you could split your feet back. You see, they really utilize that back leg and the rock back to use it to push off, kind of like a track start.
Throw down, not in time. Well, still productive.
Something tells me Team Japan's not used to a lot of stolen bases against them. So a nod to LMU for already getting 2.
They're going to be so thrilled with what they've accomplished in this tournament. I know they dropped the game to A&M, but A, A&M's a great team, and B, they have done everything else as well as you possibly can.
That's a really good 2-strike take. Kirishi does such a great job being a wall back there behind the dish. That was one of the breakout players that Coach talked about, how much work she has done.
Working the walk. The kids are having fun. The freshman, Carlson, the base on balls.
How about this experience for a freshman? Learn how to take a 70-mile-per-hour outside pitch like it's nothing. This is opportunities and experiences that are going to stay with them all throughout the season and just grow them as a team. If you can make a 2-strike take like that, you can take against anybody in the country.
Certainly has the perspective. Had a really nasty shoulder injury as her prep career was wrapping up. Battled back to come back for her freshman year, so gets to enjoy the game again. Very clearly is doing so here against Team Japan. Number 9 versus number 9.
One thing I really love about watching Team Japan play defense is you can see on every attempted bunt or slap, they're so active and moving in the infield. Feels like every time I see Ishikawa coming from third base, she's, basically a step away from home plate, just ready to field it.
This is the part of the order. Rueno Yukiko was absolutely untouchable. Now Miyu looking to do the same.
It's great hustle there by Ishikawa. And LMU, this is going to be a big challenge if you're going to try to bunt against a pitcher with this much speed and spin. You really got to have a strong top hand to be able to execute against Nobumu. What I've seen a big difference from LMU is just shortening up their 2 strikes approach. They've done a great job of just fouling off pitches, continuing to battle, wait for something they can put in play. It's also when I'd like to see Team Japan go back to that off speed.
No more velo. Works away.
That's another good no take on a 2-strike pitch. That ball is just about half a ball outside.
We'll toss to the softball back. Join one last game here at Big League Dreams.
Lambert having a really nice battle here. She's in her 2nd year at LMU after spending her freshman year at Howard. Hitting above 300.
Wanted to go after that one. Held up. But the base Pats take advantage of the ball in the dirt.
And this is a big opportunity for LMU. Great job with heads-up base running, especially with 2 outs. It almost felt like they knew that an off-speed was coming soon, as soon as they saw a ball hit dirt.
Three-two from Mew. The little poke and the snag by Sayori. Saw it instantly. Play bunt. Read and react. Right place, right time, right play. LMU right now going blow for blow with the best team in the world, and they have done that all weekend long. So Coach Flowers joins us. Coach, how thrilled have you been? Your team has racked up Power 4 win after Power 4 win in this tournament. I imagine it's got to be a lot of fun for you all right now.
Oh, it is, absolutely. Anytime you get to play softball, right? But on this stage against these opponents, it's nice seeing us play some good softball.
Coach Flowers, when you were approached with the idea of playing Team Japan, the #1 team in the world, what was your response?
Absolutely, let's do this. I mean, it's a once in a lifetime, right? So I've been fortunate because of my ties with USA of just like we've had Team USA, we have Team Mexico. A couple years ago, we had Team Toyota come out onto campus and do a workout. So it's what this is about, right? Growing the sport, letting our players see the best in the world and seeing how we measure up.
We're glad you said yes, Coach.
Thank you so much.
We can ask you for one more real quick.
Okay, yes.
Real quick, just your youngsters, right? Getting this opportunity here against this team, how much does it mean for them? How much do they get to take away from going against world #1?
I think it's just understanding, like, the game is the game, right? Keep it simple. It's 60 feet, turn left, and they're seeing the best at it. You know, they came in and they're looking at me like the ball's moving. I'm like, yep, I know, I remember. I faced Wayno at Junior Nationals and in 04 and 08. Like, they're good. I mean, it is what it is. So it's an opportunity for them to see what the highest level plays.
No question about it. We'll let you get back to enjoying it, Coach. Appreciate your time today. Congrats on this tournament. It's been really fun for you.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
The LMU Lions looking to make some noise out west this year. And it's so funny because she said exactly what you said. The player said exactly what you said. Sid, you watch these pitches and you're like, ooh, that's different. You just have to kind of go with it as this game goes.
You can't prepare for that one with the Rapsodo pitching machine. I can promise you that. The levels don't go as high. And I thought Coach Flowers brought up a great point. She is somebody who has international experience. She served as an assistant coach for Team USA at the Tokyo Olympics, where they came up with a silver medal. She was also an Olympic medalist herself, playing for Team USA at the 2024 Athens Olympic Games.
IU in time. Good job. Sakura Harvell making the play. That Athens game was kind of the debut for the ace for Team Japan that we saw earlier in the game, Inueno Yukiko. So as we say, hey, maybe there's not necessarily your full scouting report, but there's some experience there, to your point.
And both of these coaches just having so much respect for the opportunity it's bringing their athletes. And even as she said it best, the game doesn't change. She said, 60 feet, turn left, and I loved that because it's going to be so crucial for especially a lot of these freshmen from LMU. Learn that lesson early so that the game and the opponents and the matchups never seem too big.
Shiho watching down low.
Shiho, somebody who's hitting .353 on the year, 19 RBIs.
Shiho gives that one a ride. Suto Shiho, the long ball to keep the friendly atmosphere going for Team Japan.
That rise ball was no match for Shiho. Her 7th home run on the year. And this one was gone off the crack of the bat.
So knack for the dramatic. Had some big swings in the World Cup in 2024, including a walk-off against the Netherlands, another one of the real international powers. And Suto Shiho has shown those bat skills have gone nowhere in that time.
She was named onto West Division Best 9 in 2025 as she makes the campaign for 2026.
Harvell in time. So they get by Risa, and a good bounce back from the young pitcher.
Yeah, that's what you love to see from a first-year pitcher. Not getting too worked up after giving up the home run, but just resetting and going and competing. I think some of the best advice I ever got from a pitching coach was, we can handle single shots, home runs. It's the multi ones that are so hard to come back from. Koyoko Ishikawa in the batter's box. I think one thing that impressed me the most is she was named as team captain in 2024 and has held that title here all the way till 2026 for this team.
Kyoko's ball just out of reach. Score had a good chance, athletic play to get there, but the speed off the shortstop's bat is enough to keep it away from the middle infield and set up Fujimura Natsumi with a chance for a 2-down magic.
That's why you hustle out every play. She's somebody who is devastated. And she said the Olympics were removed in 2024. Has worked so hard to be back with this team and compete in 2028.
Pitching change for LMU. Committee rolls on against number 1. From grassroots to gold, USA Softball is where dreams begin, skills are sharpened, and futures are built. Visit usasoftball.com to learn how to get involved in the future of softball. If you're a top 12 or 14U player, you can check out www.usasoftball.com for the All-American Games tryout dates. Getaway day here at the Mary Nutter Collegiate Classic. Going to be a lot of that going on tonight. Team Japan's a couple days away yet. They get to finish up as Lawyer Denser takes center stage. The freshman again for LMU. These youngsters getting a chance to go against Team Japan.
Coach Flowers just wants to make sure everyone has an opportunity, and I love that she's putting in her first-year players. When you look at Sawyer, she's somebody who's just had limited amount of works. Only 5 innings where she's given up 9 earned runs, and it's just been the walks that have really allowed things to unravel quickly for her. So if she can just find a way to pound the zone, this is one of these games where you have nothing to lose.
Did enough in that win against Utah here at the MNCC. Her team comes away with a dub. That's what matters. Little hesitation. Any ball in the dirt. Both these teams, for that matter, are thinking, okay, I'm going to take 60. Not that time.
I think 2 outs is the only thing that probably caused a little bit of hesitation, wanting to keep the bat in the hands of her teammate.
The looper, well, knocks it down and makes the play. So the new kid comes in and gets it done. Sawyer sits him down. 4 complete. Team Japan in command. The grand finale here at the Mary Nutter Collegiate Classic, the solo game on Wrigley. Everything has wrapped up, and we begin to tie a bow on what is every single year one of the single best events, not only in softball, but on the entire sports calendar. And as always, Nicole, there we go. I called a lot of games with Nicole Mendez. As always, Sid, there's so many headlines that come out of this tournament. And so I'll kind of ask you, what do you think was the biggest moment of this tournament so far?
I think big picture is that the bats are winning in our sport right now. Big picture, that's what I'll say. I mean, the home run has to be at an all-time high. We saw Oklahoma Sooners lead the way with 18 long balls as they capped off 7 today in their win versus Washington, and UCLA was right behind them. 2 grand slams today, and it just feels like each team can't have enough pitchers on staff. However, I will say the one team where I feel like the pitchers dominated was the Nebraska Huskers. They were one of 3 teams who went undefeated in Cathedral City this weekend. They scored 43 runs and held their opponents to only 3 runs, and they had 3 shutouts on top of that.
Fulcher into pinch hit here. It is always a pleasure to watch Nebraska softball, but I was a little bit glad that we didn't see them on Wrigley, and the only reason I say that is because I 1,000% would have said Jordy Ball simply out of habit, and it would have taken so many tries to get to Fromm. As I already biffed calling you Nicole, my name faith in that regard is not good, but you're right, it was a huge weekend for Nebraska.
Our girl got married in the offseason. That was for the name change. But, I mean, Jordy Ball was just the iconic softball name.
It really is. It really is.
In teams, we talk about teams catching the nation's eyes. I mean, LMU is one of those who I feel like is really starting to show what they're made of. Coach Flowers doing one of her best, after one of her best starts in her 6 years at the helm.
Fulcher down looking. Yeah, as always, the mid-majors here, we came into it here on Wrigley talking about the Titans of Fullerton and how every year they come and get somebody. They did. They beat Oregon, and they took Oklahoma to the absolute brink. And so they do their thing. LMU has racked up Big Ten wins like they're a member of one of the best softball conferences in America at this point. It's just the nature of it. You just have these teams at this tournament that are so comfortable, and they go out and get some of the biggest wins of their year.
Wins against Rutgers, wins against Washington, as that one came against the number 23 Huskies earlier today in a 5-4 battle. And these are a lot of these teams who are not in the Power 4 conferences, their only opportunity for ranked wins in the seasons. So they have to get the wins early if they want a chance at the NCAA tournament.
With the smile on Christina Jones's face.
How are you supposed to hit that off speed? I mean, I'm thinking the same thing.
That is followed up by nasty velo. Eeh.
They call her the mini Monica for a reason.
Now.
Mentored by Monica Abbott, and he throws like her too with that type of spin.
Turned on that one. Little early, but that's the idea. As the ice cream truck gets one last look here on Flo.
Scoops for everybody after today.
Mew on the 1-2. Knuckled up, but it held up long enough. And so, LMU scrapping. Team Japan settling in. Well, you mentioned a couple of the teams that certainly stood out, and the UCLA Bruins, off a both dominant and perfect Mary Nutter Collegiate Classic, are the headline, including that continual success against South Carolina. Oklahoma, on the front end, did a great job against Fullerton. And then in the game that Patty Gasso joked was the most important of the weekend against her alma mater, it was a party at the beach as they pulled off the stunner. And then UCLA, in what can no longer be called a stunner, gets the walk-off win in the 7th against South Carolina. The super revenge that the Gamecocks were right next to did not come to pass. And that is just the action here on Wrigley. You mentioned Nebraska, who had a wildly successful tournament. That Fullerton win was just across the way. There was still plenty going on here at the Mary Nutter Collegiate Classic, like there always is.
Always. That's why this is one of my favorite weekends of the year. And even rewatching those Bruin highlights, I don't think anyone had an offensive explosion weekend like them besides Oklahoma. But you take a look at the Bruins. They outscored their opponents 70 runs to 22.
The quasi-hosts of this tournament. Goes back to Mr. Walker all the way back when, founding this tournament. And even as he retires from UCLA and heads into the Hall of Fame, this continues to get better, never to be retired. And so we get to see just unbelievable softball year over year over year.
Yeah, I'm so glad you shouted out Kirk Walker and just his entire staff and team. I don't think a lot of people realize it takes hundreds of volunteers who dedicate their time to make this possible for the women and for the fans. And I heard someone say it best, it feels like June in February because you get that Women's College World Series feel on these big league ballparks. So many people.
It takes so many people
paying their
to make it
hours
happen.
for us.
Ayane taking the strike. And so maybe only appropriate that in the year that Kirk Walker retires from UCLA, his team honors that and pretty much dominates their way through the tournament, with one notable exception, the game ending the only way it could have.
Oh, I can promise you he was in the stands watching his Bruins very closely.
Oh, yeah. 2-2. We showed a shot of Maya Brady watching. There was UCLA royalty in the house, as there is every single year here at the Mary Nutter Collegiate Classic.
The Bruin bubble so strong and coming back. Their alumni base so rich and proud.
Ayane takes the walk. Although I point out Maya specifically, not even necessarily to make the point about UCLA, but that's someone who grew up coming to this tournament, found her love of softball in some ways right here in Cathedral City, and then goes on to be one of the best players in the sport. She might even be playing against Team Japan here over the course of a very real possibility that she's at LA 28. And so the little ones in the stands may very well be the stars of Olympics years from now.
And I think it's so cool with the amount of Team USA players and future players that are walking around this weekend. And Corey, I couldn't help but think how Coach Gasso was leading her Oklahoma team to a huge weekend. And I'm like, was she watching Team Japan at times, getting a little scouting report, as she's now the head coach for Team USA. And she said tasked with the toughest decision to pick 15 players to represent.
That's what I was going to say. As much as, yeah, you want to watch Team Japan, I think she's probably looking around at some of the incredible players that we have in college right now and be like, boy, I'd love to have her on Team USA. And then you get the players that just graduated, like Amaya Brady, and you're like, well, you can't get rid of her. So I have no idea how Coach Gasso is going to form that roster. She knows, because she knows way more softball than I do. But I can't begin to imagine getting that number to 15.
There's so many good options out there. And one thing she said is interesting. We need to have players who can play in multiple positions, have specific roles off the bench. All of that will go into ultimately the final decision.
Certainly a part of the 2-position minimum that is enforced in Oklahoma softball. So the national mentality very much applies in Norman OK as well.
Team Japan really doing a nice job at just forcing strikes here, showing that they're not going to nibble on anything out of the zone. A very disciplined group, as we heard earlier, practices for 5 hours a day.
They've played a bunch of games here this week, couple exhibitions, then came to Mary Nutter and have played every day, and now getting their opportunity here on Wrigley to wrap up the tournament. Well, we said it was getaway day and teams will be traveling a lot. You never imagined it was going to look quite like that. A little extra coverage here at the MNCC. The cameras are everywhere at this tournament.
You get it all here. There's no sights like the Mary Nutter.
Yeah.
From the plains to the mountains, the sunsets we've seen.
Yeah. Lions from the freshman rotation to a very familiar name. Lindsay Odell going to work for LMU. Well, Lindsay Odell got the start against the Washington Huskies in the first game of the day for LMU. And now in the split, competitive, friendly doubleheader, Lindsay Odell will make her second appearance in as many games.
The lone senior on this staff, also the leader of the bullpen with over 40 innings of work so far this season. Last year, she threw around 130 innings, but what has impressed me the most is the drop in her ERA. It's been drastic. The last 2 years in 2025 and 2024, she had around a 5.5 ERA. This year, her career best at 1.31 and helped throw some in the marquee win for them earlier today against Washington.
got the year started with a bit of a statement of, hey, this is going to be a different campaign. 7 shutout against Boise State, a team historically very known for their offense, put up 2 hits against Odell. Lifted right up a shoot. And the Lion Ace gets the first out.
Up until today, Odell gave up her first home run against her. And it was about, I think I calculated about 70 innings of work from the start of this season into the end of last season. Somebody who just does a great job spinning it in the zone and forcing a lot of weak contact.
Number 6.
Very much in a groove and enjoying the moment. Shimoyama will come in and pinch hit for Team Japan.
Somebody who has a 225 average, a little bit lower, but they like her coming into bat because of her long ball power. She's launched 6 so far this season.
An uncomfortable looking swing right there.
I like that movement, even being a ball. You can just see the sharp break Odell naturally gets on her drop ball.
Then comes with the fast.
That is just a filthy pitch. One thing about Team Japan, they do not get shorted on their swings.
No.
I kind of love that. If they're going to swing, they swing hard.
How about it? If you've got good bat speed, use it.
Yep. LMU pitching by a committee today, and a good chunk so far this season, never wanting the hitters to get too comfortable. It's an opportunity for everyone to get into this game.
For this composition of the Japanese national team, they haven't played together very long, and that's the case for a lot of teams gearing up for the World Championships. I know the Czech national team just down in Florida, they hadn't even gotten the scouting report on their own pitchers yet. The coaching staff hadn't. So it's very much a feeling out process, sort of day one at Northwestern for Sid Supley type feel for Team Japan.
And it doesn't matter how long you've played the sport. Those can feel really nerve-wracking, right? When you get together with a team and you're thinking, how do we connect? And when the chemistry and the culture and the communication are 3 big pillars in our sport. I even look at Team USA and the players who, you know, everyone believes has a chance to make the team. They're spread across the country. And that's why Coach Gasso, being at Oklahoma, is trying to use that facility that they use for the Women's College World Series to host them every few months and just get people more comfortable with each other.
Held training camps this summer. A lot of players got to go and to rave reviews. I know we talked with Stacey Newman-Denise about the opportunity, and a couple of her players went, and they were just so happy at the structure of it, the process of it, and they all felt universally they got better as a result.
And that's the #1 goal. At the end of the day, only 15 athletes can represent this country, but so many are going to be responsible for helping that Team USA team compete by just being really competitive in the training process. If you can help other athletes along the way, whether they're still playing professionally, collegiately, they'll take it. And I'm sure that's very similar to Team Japan as well. Good things happen when you put the
Ground
ball
ball,
hard on the
clean work.
ground.
Mm-hmm.
Team Japan just continuing to play very situational softball, finding a way to poke one through or get on base and just pass the bat.
Risa working ahead in the count.
A really nice balance on Team Japan between lefties and righties.
High chop and the nasty bounce. Risa forcing the in-betweener, and she gets all the way to second.
All weekend long, this infield is played just really hard.
And so, Team Japan gets to celebrate the run rule walk-off. Risa ends it. And so, the Mary Nutter Collegiate Classic looks at its end. A fun game, and Sid, I think we all kind of had a feeling what Team Japan would look like, and they certainly lived up to that expectation.
Games, and what an opportunity for them to be able to play for their first time as a team internationally, learn so much about themselves. But I look at what it brought to the Mary Nutter Collegiate Classic from the fans, and then for the athletes who got to compete against them. We are growing our sport, and that's the #1 goal. The competition is at an all-time high at the college level and at the international level.
There is so much that goes into this tournament. We talked about what Kirk Walker and his team have done for a long time here at the Mary Nutter Collegiate Classic. For us here at Flo, bringing you every game on every field, it is about 100 by the time it's all said and done. It is a gargantuan undertaking, and it does not happen without a lot of awesome people. Fred Cambria setting it up, organizing us. Cruz Sanchez has to put up with so many of us whiny broadcasters pleading for lineups the entire time in this tournament, and continues to produce time and again. Gabe Alleman, John Claybrook making it happen, and then our crew on site for everybody here on Wrigley, for our producer Jeff Sermon, for our director Steve Banna, Tyler Pettit running the graphics, Chris Melcher, Cody Gooch running the camera and audio, Taylor Gillum leading replay, Scott Ray, Sean Wedmore, Jeff Highbaugh, David Sampson, Zach Tapper, and George Lambos, our crew. And that's just our group here on Wrigley. There is so much more that goes into it. The ultimate event, and perfect timing as we thank our crew here on Flo. A thank you from the Japanese national team as they get to continue to enjoy. They're here for another couple days. They played some good exhibitions, drilling into this, and they fap off a great tournament. The headlines are written, and now we begin to figure it out. The best events in the pre-conference slate is done. Now conference play is right around the corner. My broadcast partners Sid Supley and Nicole Mendez, as well as all of us here at Flo, I'm Corey Brooks. Another fun Mary Nutter is in the books.